Hello viewers, so welcome to my channel. I'm Hasham Ali Khan. Last two videos I have explained you in detail regarding the financial statements of manufacturing organization. A manufacturing organization is that enterprise which convert the raw material into finished goods. So this type of manufacturing organization will prepare a new account called manufacturing account. So the financial statement of a manufacturer consists of three. The first one, manufacturing account. Second one, income statement. Third, statement of financial position. So I have explained you the format, how to make the production account. The purpose of making this production account or manufacturing account is to ascertain what is the cost of production. So all the costs which are incurred in the factory should be taken to calculate the production cost by making manufacturing account. So I have explained you in complete detail how to make the manufacturing account. What are the items to be taken? But before that, you must know what are direct cost and what are indirect cost. I have explained in complete detail. So if you have not watched those videos, you cannot be able to understand the problems. So my suggestion, if you want the complete command on this topic of financial statement of a manufacturer, watch the first two theory videos. Be perfect with all the concepts, how to make the manufacturing account. Then you can understand these problems. Now in this video, I am going to do a number of short questions and MCQs which are frequently asked in IGCSE examinations. So before starting the problem, I expect my viewers to have a printout of the problems which I have given in the link under my description. So this problem set is already there in the description. Last line of the description, you will find the link there. Take a printout and keep it ready before watching the video. Take the screenshot of the solution of all the points which are written on the board. Then I'll explain in detail each and every question. Now, see the first question. The first question is a theory question, small, short question. What is a direct cost? These questions are frequently asked in examination. I have taken out these questions from the past papers. So give more concentration on these questions. Now, first, what is a direct cost? The total costs are divided into two categories, direct cost and indirect cost. So direct costs are those costs which are specifically incurred in making the product. Specifically incurred in making the product, or the cost which is directly linked with a particular product is called direct cost. Here in simple words, I have shown you a cost that can be directly identified with a specific product, that is changes directly with the output. That means the direct cost will directly change with the output. That means if you produce more output, more direct cost will be required. If you produce less output, less direct cost is required. So direct costs are directly related with the output. Higher the output, more direct cost. The cost which can specifically incurred in making the product, that is called direct cost. Then second question, indirect cost. What is indirect cost? The cost which is not involved in the manufacturing of the product, but it is incurred in the factory. Any cost other than direct cost. Any cost other than direct cost is called indirect cost. Example, in the factory, and I'll give you one example. Suppose a furniture manufacturer producing a different types of furniture like sofa set or dining table or benches, chairs, etc. So all these products are produced in a factory. The premises of the factory is a rented premises. So rent paid for the factory premises is an indirect cost. Because this rent is not incurred exclusively on a particular product, but the rent is paid for all the products. That is called indirect cost. Similarly, the wages paid to supervisor. The supervisor will supervise all the products made in the factory. The supervisor is not supervising only a particular product but all the products. So it is called indirect cost. Simple. The cost incurred which is not specifically on a particular product but all the products produced in the factory. The common cost incurred in the factory. So a cost that is not involved in the manufacturing of the product but it is involved in the factory. It is incurred in the factory but it is not specifically incurred on a particular product. The indirect cost cannot be linked to items being manufactured. So indirect cost cannot be directly linked with a particular product. The indirect cost is incurred on all the products. So the costs do not change with the level of output. Whether the output is more or output is less, the indirect cost will remain same. Example, the rent of the factory premises. The rent paid is not related with the production. Whether we produce more goods or whether we produce less goods, the rent of the factory will remain same. So these indirect costs are not linked with the output, not related with the output. So these points you have to remember regarding indirect cost. Next is prime cost. Prime cost is the total of direct cost, the total of direct material, direct labor and direct expenses. The three expenditure, direct material, direct labor, direct expenses combined together means prime cost. Next, two types of depreciation methods. It is asking in the question, fourth question, what are the two types of depreciation? The commonly adopted two types of depreciation are straight line method depreciation and reducing balance method depreciation. These are the most commonly adopted methods of depreciation. Apart from this, there are a number of other methods also, but these two are important. Now, fifth question is, what are the three types of inventories? In a manufacturing organization, the three types of inventories are inventory of raw material, inventory of work in progress, inventory of finished goods. These three are the types of inventory. Example, in a manufacturer of furniture manufacturer, first of all it will purchase the raw material in the form of plywood, decolam, etc. All these material he has kept in the godown, that is called inventory of raw material. As and when it is required in the factory, the material will be sent from the godown to the factory. In the factory, some workers are working there. They are converting that material into finished products. So till the time it is not fully converted into finished goods, it is called work in progress. Semi-finished goods are called work in progress. So inventory of work in progress. Lastly, inventory of finished goods. The items which are 100% completed and it is ready for sale, that is called finished goods. So three types of inventory. Inventory of raw material, inventory of work in progress, inventory of finished goods. Next comes, which of the following is a factory overhead? Now, it's a MCQ problem. Four options are given. Which of the following is a factory overhead? Carriage on finished goods, carriage on raw material, wages of factory supervisor, wages of machine operator. In these four items, the factory overhead are the indirect cost. The indirect cost is wages of the factory supervisor. The wages paid to factory supervisor is a factory overhead. So here, wages of factory supervisor is a factory overhead. Remember this point. Next, again, seventh question is of MCQ. Which of the following is a direct cost? Here the options are given. A. Royalties. B. Depreciation of machinery. C. Selling and administration expenses. D. Factory power. Now one by one you remember. Factory power is factory overhead. It is asking you which is a direct cost. So factory power is not a direct cost. It is indirect cost incurred in the factory. Selling and administration expenses. It is not related with production. selling and administration is not related with the production. It is related with administration and selling and distribution. So this administration and selling expenditure will not come in production cost. Then depreciation of machinery, it is factory overhead. It is factory overhead. Now it is asking you which is the direct cost. So royalties. Royalties paid is a direct cost. Remember. So here royalty paid is a direct cost. Next comes 8th question. 8th problem, MCQ is there, but calculative part. It is asking you to calculate the prime cost. Prime cost consists of direct material, direct labor and direct expenses. Nothing else. The 3 items you remember, direct material, direct labor, direct expenses combined together prime cost. So here royalties are given. So royalty is a direct expense. So prime cost will include royalty. So we should take royalty as a direct expense. Factory wages, we will not take factory wages. It is an indirect expenditure incurred in the factory. Raw material consumed, this we will take. Because prime cost consists of direct material and this raw material consumed is a direct material. Direct labor we will take. Depreciation we will not take. Depreciation will go to factory overheads. That is indirect cost. Then factory rent is also indirect cost. So in the problem, some direct cost, some indirect cost, both are given. We have to take only direct cost, don't take the indirect cost. So direct cost consists of raw material consumed. See here, raw material consumed 28,000. Direct labor 15,600. Royalties, it is direct expense. Take it 12,000. Total prime cost 55,600. The answer is 55,600. D answer is correct. 55,600 is the prime cost. Now 2-3 items we have ignored. We have not taken. 2 items we have not taken. Which are the 2? Factory wages we have not taken. Depreciation we have not taken. Factory rent we have not taken. So for your understanding, for your knowledge, I am writing here factory wages, then depreciation and factory rent are indirect costs. Indirect cost should not be taken in prime cost. In prime cost only we should take direct cost consisting of direct material, direct labor, direct expense. That's it. The other items we will not consider. That's it. 8th problem over. Now come to 9th one. Calculate the production cost using the following information. Again, a problematic problem we have to solve. Options are given A, B, C, D. But we have to calculate how much is the production cost. One point you remember. Production cost consists of direct cost plus indirect cost. The direct cost consists of direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, prime cost. To prime cost we add indirect manufacturing overhead or factory overheads. So prime cost plus factory overheads, you will get production cost. That's what it is asking you to calculate production cost. The prime cost is given 92,000. We will take prime cost. Now indirect factory overhead. What are the indirect factory overhead? Selling and administration cost. This will not come under production cost. Remember, selling and administration cost are other indirect expenses that will not be considered in production cost. So ignore this selling and administration. Depreciation on office equipment. Depreciation on machinery should be taken into account because machinery will be used in factory. But here it is given depreciation on office equipment. It is not a part of production cost. So don't take depreciation on office equipment. Don't take selling and administration. Next, factory power. This is indirect factory overheads. Factory power 10,000. Next, factory insurance. This is also indirect factory overhead. Factory insurance. Then comes closing inventory of WIP, opening inventory of WIP. So opening inventory of WIP will be added, closing inventory of WIP should be deducted. Simply opening stock you add, closing stock you deduct. That rule you have to remember. So prime cost is given. Indirect factory labor overhead consists of factory power and factory insurance. Add up all the three, you'll get 1,04,000. To this we add opening inventory of work in progress. 8,800 you add up. You'll get 1,12,800 minus closing inventory of WIP 5,600. Deduct. You'll get production cost 1,07,200. 1,07,200 is called the production cost, which consists of direct cost and indirect cost. This prime cost is a direct cost, and this factory indirect overheads are this indirect cost. So after adding the indirect cost and direct cost, add opening stock of WIP minus closing stock of WIP. We'll get production cost. So ultimate answer 107,200. A answer is correct. Next, 10th question. One note I have given here, selling and administration and depreciation on office equipment will not be considered in production cost. Just now I told you, production cost consists of only those costs which are incurred on production. So other cost, administration, selling, this will not be taken in production cost. Next, 10th. What are direct costs? And give few examples. Already we have discussed. Direct costs are those costs which are specifically incurred in making the product. Examples of direct costs are direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. It is called prime cost and also it is called direct cost, means same. So here direct costs are costs that can be traced to a specific product that is being manufactured. Any cost which is specifically being identified in the product made, that is called direct cost. Example, raw material, piece rate wages, patents and royalties. These patents and royalties are the direct expenses and piece rate wages are the direct labor and raw material. That's it. Next comes prime cost. What is the meaning of the term prime cost? Prime cost is the total of direct cost. The prime cost consists of direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. The prime cost is the total of marginal cost of products produced, derived from the addition of the cost of raw material, direct labor and other direct costs. So 11 questions over. Now 12th is MCQ. No calculation, only formula is given. How is cost of production calculated? How the cost of production will be calculated? So for cost of production, first of all we take direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses. These three consist of prime cost. To prime cost we add factory overhead. After adding factory overhead, you take opening stock of WIP add and closing stock of WIP deduct. Now we are adding opening and deducting closing. Now you compare whether closing is more or less. If the closing inventory is more, then you have to deduct. If there is decrease in the closing WIP, you have to add. So remember, write it down there itself. If there is decrease in WIP, it will be added. If there is decrease in WIP, it will be added. So here the answer is direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses plus factory overhead plus decrease in WIP. So first four items, direct material, direct labor, direct expenses plus factory overheads. After adding factory overhead, then you have to see whether there is increase or decrease. If there is increase in WIP, minus. If there is decrease in WIP, add. So here add decrease in WIP. This is the formula for cost of production. Now 13th one. Which item would not appear in the manufacturing account? Four items are given. Which item is not considered, would not appear in the manufacturing account? So here cost of goods sold, cost of production, prime cost, work in progress. Remember, manufacturing account will have work in progress. Manufacturing account will have prime cost. Manufacturing account will have cost of production. But manufacturing account will not have cost of goods sold. So one point you remember, cost of goods sold will not be considered. cost of goods sold will not be considered in the manufacturing account. So here, cost of goods sold will not appear in the manufacturing account. Now 14th. Again MCQ. Which of the following is a factory overhead? The 4 items are given. You have to identify which is factory overhead. Carriage inward on material. Carriage inward on material will be added to material purchase. Write it down there itself. Always keep a notebook when you listen the lecture. When you watch this video, always keep a notebook. Write it down. Carriage on material purchase will be added to material purchase. That will not come under factory overhead. Secondly, factory supervisor salary. Yes, factory supervisor salary is a part of factory overhead. Then hire of special machinery, that's a direct cost. And manufacturing wages, that is a direct cost. So among all these, only one item is factory overhead. The factory overhead is factory supervisor salary. So here, factory supervisor salary is a factory overhead. Next, 15th. Where should a manufacturing business show the cost of delivering its goods to customers? The cost of delivering the goods to customers. It is distribution, selling and distribution. And selling and distribution cost will come in income statement. Here options are given: appropriation account, manufacturing account, income statement, trading account. The cost of delivering the goods to the customer is called distribution cost, selling and distribution cost. It will appear in income statement. So here, carriage on raw material, a manufacturing business will show the cost of delivering its goods to customers in income statement. The answer is income statement. Next, 16th. Which item is included in prime cost? The 4 options are given. Which item is included? Carriage on raw material, carriage on finished goods, depreciation on factory machinery, supervisor's wages. Supervisor wages is an indirect cost. That is not a prime cost. Depreciation on factory machinery, that is also indirect factory cost. Then carriage on finished goods, that is selling and distribution. And carriage on raw material is a part of prime cost. Carriage on raw material will be added to purchase of raw material. So carriage on raw material is a part of prime cost. Carriage on raw material is included in prime cost. Next, 17th. A manufacturing company provides the following information: work in progress, closing work in progress, factory overhead, opening work in progress, prime cost, and what is the cost of production. So we have to calculate the cost of production. 4 options are given. So how to find out cost of production? First, prime cost. 66,000 is given prime cost. To prime cost, we add factory overhead 45,000. So always remember, prime cost add factory overhead 45,000, total 1,11,000. To that amount, add opening inventory of WIP and deduct closing inventory of WIP. This point you remember. Opening stock will be added, closing stock will be deducted. So here opening WIP is 3,600, add 3,600. And closing WIP is 3,000, deduct 3,000. So 1,11,600 is the production cost. So again I repeat, prime cost plus factory overhead plus opening inventory of WIP minus closing inventory of WIP, you will get production cost. This is 17th. 18th. A manufacturing company provided the following information: closing WIP, factory overhead, opening WIP, prime cost. What is the production cost? Exactly similar to the 17th problem. 17th and 18th are same, only figures are different. So first we take prime cost. To prime cost we add factory overhead, given in the problem factory overhead. We'll get 2,04,000 plus opening WIP minus closing WIP. We'll get production cost 2,03,300. So 17th and 18th same problem. Now 19th one. The following costs are incurred by a clothing manufacturer. Find out the factory overhead. So among these 5 items, which are the factory overhead? One sentence is missing there. The following costs were incurred by a clothing manufacturer. Find the factory overhead. Write down one sentence. Find the factory overhead. So here, purchase of fabric, purchase of button, repairs of sewing machine, wages of factory supervisor, wages of sewing machinist. In these 5 items, 2 items are factory overhead. Which are the two items? Wages of factory supervisor and repairs to sewing machine. So repairs to sewing machine and wages of factory supervisor. These two are factory oriented. Remaining items, remaining three items are given that are not factory oriented, that are the direct cost. For example, purchase of fabric. It's a clothing manufacturer. Clothing manufacturer. So purchase of fabric is a direct material. Similarly, purchase of buttons. Buttons are direct expenses. Buttons purchased are direct expenses. Wages of sewing machinist. These are the labor charges. So direct labor. So purchase of fabrics will not come under factory overhead. Purchase of buttons will not come under factory overhead. Wages of sewing machinist is not a factory overhead. Factory overhead are two: repairs of sewing machines and wages of factory supervisor. That's all. So totally 19 questions, short questions and MCQs I have explained you in detail. We'll continue the next problem in the next video.